I was super intrigued by this concept when I watched the interview because at first it sounds a little hokey pokey, I'm not gonna lie. But then when you think about it, I think we all do this in some way, shape, or form. Hey everyone, it's Roshini of Glamazini.com bringing you light and laughter per usual. Listen, let me move you guys back. Today I am here to do a book review for you, which I have not done. I used to do book reviews on Instagram pretty regularly back in the day. And then I stopped and I really could never figure out where to put them. I have this coaching channel and I have this coaching group. I'm gonna put this video up in my Find Your Light coaching group as well as on my Find Your Light YouTube channel. So if you're in the group and you don't know I have a channel, the link to that is in the information box. And if you're in the channel and you don't know I have a group, which is free, the link for that is in the information box. Today's video is one that I literally just finished. Pro tip, I was stalling out on this book, not just because of the book, but just because life was happening over the holidays since November. And I decided that I was going to read 10 pages a day for the new year as part of my morning or evening routine. And in just over a week, I finished the book. So it took me 8 days. I read the remaining 80 pages and I'm finished with the book, and it's wonderful. I've actually started an audiobook right now. And in the case of the audiobook, I'm listening to 10 minutes a day, and so far so good. So maybe I'll come back and do a review on that. All right, the book that I'm reviewing for you guys today is called The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. The Power of Secret Identities to Transform Your Life. I found out about this book on a YouTube interview. I think it was Project Life Mastery. He interviewed Todd Herman. If I find that link, I will put it in the information box below. And I have a pretty extensive book reading list that I keep in my phone. So it was next up and I got it from my local library. The book itself speaks exactly about that. The fact that Todd Herman, who is a performance coach for celebrities and sports figures, etc., teaches them the concept of using a alter ego or a, what do they call it, a secret identity to help them perform better in their lives. I was super intrigued by this concept when I watched the interview because at first it sounds a little hokey pokey, I'm not gonna lie. But then when you think about it, I think we all do this in some way, shape, or form. Let me give you an example. I know that there are times when I am having an internal dialogue with myself that says, this always goes this way for me, or I can't do this. So for example, I hate making phone calls that are like to the insurance company, or I'm not the best with quantitative things. My mind kind of shuts off after a while. So I tend to get an anxiety response and I tend to procrastinate. But I do know that I have in recent years started saying something to myself along the lines, inside my head, along the lines of, what if you told yourself something different? And so instead of saying, I'm not good with this quantitative thing, I'm not going to be able to figure out this glitch on my website, I never can, I literally stop, take a breath, and say to myself, either aloud if no one's around or in my head, I'm going to figure this out. And 99.999% of the time when I do that, I then put myself in a different state and think, I can figure it out, and I figure it out. And the anxiety and the pause and all of that self-talk kind of melts away. So it's not exactly that, but because of that, I wanted to read this book. Now, he goes very much in depth into the concept of an alter ego, how he uses it with his clients, who, like I said, are a lot of high-performing celebrities and sports figures, how he came up with it, how he used it for himself to build his business, how he implements it with his clients using totems, having names, why that works, and all of that. It's not a book about psychology behind it so much as implementation and effectiveness. So he even goes as far to say that he's not here to tell you all the deep psychology and dig into the why. He's here to help you get results. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this book a 3.5. And the reason why I would give it a 3.5 overall is because it was a little difficult for me to read. It didn't flow as well as I wanted it to, especially when he got into the descriptions of extraordinary world versus ordinary world and your field of play, which is basically the world you live in versus the world that you want to live in, the world you want to create, and where you want to incorporate your alter ego field of play. So my brain just was not grasping that very well. And so it was a little tedious for me to read, which is why I bumped it down a star and a half, because I kind of had to implement that 10 pages a day thing I told you guys about to get through this book. But once I got through it, I absolutely am encouraged to implement the concept in full or in part. Another thing that I think is interesting is there are lots of anecdotal stories, not just about his clients, but about people that we know, like celebrities we know, who use alter egos. And so this is not far-fetched. He even mentioned that he has yet to explain this concept to a high-performing celebrity and have them think that it's weird. Most of them think it sounds perfectly normal, and most of them understand the concept of slipping into another person. That's a loose way of saying it, or becoming a secret identity in their head that performs at a peak level in a different way than you actually believe yourself to perform. So, where I am right now with this book is I am trying to decide what my alter ego will be, and I am trying to come up with like a totem, which is, an actual object, and he goes into all that in the book. Ironically, and I don't have it on today, every year I pick a word for the year. Last year my word was mastery, as in self-mastery. This year I picked joy and WWVRD. And I get bracelets made every year with the words on them, which I didn't put them on today. So the WWVRD, ironically, my brain is starting to realize I have already developed an alter ego. WWVRD is what I came up with when I was on a beach in Jamaica last November and realized that all of my thoughts were coming in crystal clear and all my sentences had periods on the end of them. I was decisive, I was clear, and I was content with what I was writing down in my journal. And so when I came back, I wrote down what would Vacation Roshini do to guide my brain back to that space of clarity and decisiveness, and to check my journal, honestly, because I was writing things down profusely when I was on the beach in Jamaica. So I realized that Vacation Roshini might be the beginnings of my alter ego, you guys. And so once I have that in my mind, I'm gonna go back into the book and look at all of the different exercises he gives us as to like how to define your alter ego, how to use it, how to activate it, how to name it, why a name is important, all that kind of stuff. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I'm realizing that I have already, even though I didn't think of it this way, come up with the concept of an alter identity that has a different way of showing up in the world than I do. And that's Vacation Roshini. So it's really interesting, you guys. People's alter egos can be anything. They can be a person they know. They can be an imaginary person they made up. It can be a combination of people. It can be a cartoon character, a comic book character, it could be anything. But if you have issues showing up in the world in a manner that you think is performing and producing the results that you want, then I would recommend checking out this book by Todd Herman, The Alter Ego Effect. And if you like these kind of book reviews, let me know, because I am constantly reading books, and so I will come back and let you guys know more about it. Don't forget that we are doing the 30-day Mind, Body, Spirit Challenge in my coaching group. If you are interested, check out bit.ly/findyourlight group. And if you are watching this in the group, hopefully you are part of the challenge. Information on how you can participate, even when the challenge is over, will be in the information box of this video. That's it, you guys. Be well, be encouraged. Until the next video. I'm trying to look around. I don't have one nearby. You guys can get this. Boop. There's a pineapple. Bye, y'all.